Guys, this is Palm with Pro Box Respect TKO. I'm at the London Sporting Club here in Berkeley Square with the President of the WBC World Boxing Council, Sulaiman. How are you, sir?
Very, very happy and honored to be in your beautiful program.
Thank you, sir, and I'm so honoured and privileged to be here. We conversed a little bit over email, and never did I think that you was going to end up coming in London.
Well, that's destiny, so it means it's a good thing.
Absolutely. There's a, I don't know, do you want to take your drink, sir? Or you're... That's just in case we get thirsty doing the interview.
Cheers.
Cheers, sir. Thank you. Wow.
Not tequila.
It's not tequila. Mauricio, respectfully, you've obviously, this is probably not your first time you've been over to London. And you said you only flew in a couple of days ago?
I flew in, I've been in Europe for the past 15 days.
Okay.
Went to the European Boxing Union Convention. Okay. Then I went to Geneva to meet with the Hublot watch manufacturers. We're doing great things with them. Then I went on to Rome. We met the Pope Francis.
Wow.
We went on to Amsterdam, then Cardiff, and now London.
So you've done a mini tour, so...
a mini tour of Europe.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Well, welcome anyway, even though it's not your first time here. Just for the viewers, how did you, and I probably know some of these answers, but how did you get into the boxing and specifically the World Boxing Council?
Well, my father, Sulaiman,
yeah,
was president of the WBC for 38 years. So I was born into boxing.
Absolutely.
When I was 5 years old, he was elected president. So all my life, I was used to be around champions, around amateur boxers, 4 round, 6 round, 8 round, Muhammad Ali, Leonard, Hagler, Ferns, Chavez.
Yeah.
All my life. My father, he was very home. He liked to be very hospitable.
Yeah.
So many of the meetings and lunch or dinners took place at home.
Wow.
So I was very fortunate to have been born into a house where I immediately became passionate about boxing.
Of course.
And ever since I can remember, boxing has been in my blood.
So for people like us here gathered today, you know, hearing just those names, Muhammad Ali, Marvin Hagler, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, great name. So you grew up with them more like family, you know, in and out of your home.
There's no difference between an amateur boxer and Mike Tyson. There's no difference. Sure. The feeling is the same, the dreams.
Yep.
You know, everything starts when they're kids. When they have a dream of winning a medal for the country or being a champion of the green and gold belt. Their background, their family, the way they want to come out and be someone in life,
yes,
to buy a house for their mom, to fight hard to become someone in life for their country. It's the same all over the world.
It's the same sacrifices, and I remember, I will mention his name, professional boxing trainer Don Charles I interviewed recently, who trains Derek Chisora, and he said to me, he said the only difference between the amateurs and professional ranks is professionals get paid, but exactly what you said, all the other aspects of it is exactly the same.
Sacrifice, run, train, watch what you eat.
Yeah.
Be very conscious of what you do in your personal life. Dream and work and work and work and work. Boxing and boxers are the heroes of the world.
I apologise in advance because there might be certain things I'm going to ask you that you may have already mentioned because of your passion. Now, obviously during your time, you've obviously been, as you said, you've been around a lot of champions who've worn that famous green belt. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Lennox Lewis. Is there any one of those that you, maybe even as a boy, you followed more?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Really?
Oh, he was my hero. Sugar Ray.
Great champion.
Great champion, and I was fortunate to meet him at my house when I was 9 years old. He had just lost to Roberto Duran.
Another great
fighter. He was
fighter.
coming to do the rematch, and he showed me his muscle. My friends in school could not believe it. And Chavez, of course, Mike Tyson. But as I say, you can see a fight, and many times I prefer to go to a small show, small club,
Sure.
and really enjoy the fight as a fan.
Yeah.
That's boxing. That's tremendous. That's massive.
Similar to how we have the York Hall here, which has a great atmosphere as well. So I don't know. Have you been to the York Hall here?
I never been.
Okay, so next time you come,
I gotta put it in my bucket list.
yeah, we'll go together maybe. Obviously, there's a lot of great Mexican fighters. Is boxing? You mentioned the small hall. Is in Mexico? Is boxing huge, or do they tend to sort of have to travel abroad?
No, boxing is huge.
Okay.
In Mexico, it's the second sport after football,
Yeah, of course.
like many countries.
True.
But Mexico has had nearly 200 champions of the world.
Wow.
Great activity, and there's a tremendous fan base. Every night that there's boxing on television is the highest rating event.
Okay. Mauricio, I know that obviously from our communication, I know how busy you are, and again, I respect the time that you're here. For the viewers, just give them a flavour. As a president, what's your sort of typical day or week involve?
Well, boxing is so global.
Sure.
And I have to deal with people in Asia, in Europe, in America, all over the world. There's boxing. Most of the events happen on Saturday,
Yeah.
so there's no weekend. Boxing has no barriers. So I'm in communications since early in the morning till late at night, all over the world, and without really taking weekends or vacations as a consideration. So the life is different from a normal family.
Of course. Of course.
I had to travel a lot. I had to work very much. I had to be in meetings, go to events. It takes a toll in your family. As I say, it's not a normal family. It's not a structured family when you go to work and you're back at home for supper,
Yeah.
dinner. It's a different life.
It's a different setup.
But I was born like that. And my father managed to have a great marriage with my mom, and she was great. She looked after us without ever feeling that my father was abandoning the kids.
Right.
And that's what my wife is doing right now. She's a great woman. I love her so
bless.
much. And my 3 kids are stable, and we have a great family, and just try to cherish those moments that we're together.
Excellent. And you're back tomorrow, right? You're flying back home tomorrow?
Flying back to Mexico, yes.
Okay, well, have a safe journey there.
Thank you.
Mauricio. Mauricio, I just wanted to ask you regarding obviously how the organisation is set up. You obviously have a champion per weight, and then you have the ranking system with like the mandatory number 1 and so forth. As a sanctioning body, how do you manage the different criteria, especially when, say, fighters enter into these complex rematch clauses and so on? How do you manage that as an organisation?
Boxing is a very old sport, and most rules and legislation and procedures are very old. And the WBC has done a very good job in modernizing the sport, especially in the safety features.
Yeah.
We reduce from 15 to 12 rounds. The weigh-in is a day before instead of the day of the fight. Glove tampering campaign, glove registration of brands, and many matters. But it's a problem because it's money.
Of course.
And every promoter is independent. Every fighter is an independent contractor. And there are many different organizations.
Yeah.
So there's so many components that play into a decision that sometimes it complicates matters. But the beauty of this sport is that the fans are the ones that own the sport.
Yeah.
And we are in depth with the fan. We work for the fan.
Yeah.
And our highest priority is the protection and the welfare of the boxer, before, during, and after the championship years. So it's complex. We can only be responsible for what the WBC does, not the other components, but we try to do our best.
Do you have a relationship with the other boxing organisations? Do you speak to them on a regular basis?
Yeah,
at all?
we have a very close relationship. Every organization has their own rule book,
Yeah.
their own commitments, there are procedures, and the ideal world would be to have one world champion.
Of course.
But it has not been possible, and it's a matter that we have to understand and live by.
As you know, British boxing is on a huge high. We've got a record number of world champions as well. I think it's 12 or 13 now. We've seen already this year, we've seen some good title fights already. You know, as fans, we've been really spoiled with some of the fights. And as I mentioned, British fighters are involved. We've still got
Jack,
yes, yeah,
Linares against Krolla, George
Klitschko fight.
And what's coming up?
So this weekend, obviously, we've got Ward versus Kovalev. A month from now, Garcia versus Broner. And then, of course, we've got Canelo versus Canelo. Golovkin versus Canelo in September. Is there any, and out of all of those, I'm sure you want to watch all of them, any particular fights or fighters you like watching yourself, personally?
No, I enjoy, I respect tremendously every single person that goes into a ring.
Yeah.
You have to respect, admire, and protect.
Absolutely.
So I love boxing, whether it's a brawl or it's a technical fight. And I respect if it's a 4-round or a championship fight.
I'm sure some of my colleagues before asked this question. Only last night we got the big announcement. Floyd Mayweather, TBE, is now fighting Conor McGregor, officially announced. As you know, there's a lot of split opinions across the board, fans and professionals in the game. It's a meeting of boxing versus MMA. What do you think? I'm not going to say, you know, say opinions and so on, but what do you think we can expect from that fight?
I respect McGregor very much.
Okay.
You have to respect them to go into the ring against the greatest fighter of the recent years. Absolutely. It's going to be a very important event for the world. Hopefully everything will turn out good, and it's a boxing event that will be of interest.
I've heard a few, I mean, obviously this is only a recent announcement, probably not even 24 hours old. A few people have already mentioned that potentially one of the world boxing organisations, WBC, could be involved. Can you speculate on that at all, or do you think it's too early for that?
No, it's too early. It depends on the promoters. If they need an organization to be responsible for the medicals, the drug testing, the supervising the weigh-ins, we will see. We don't know, but I support the event. It's good for the sports.
Yeah.
It's good for boxing, and boxing is going to show the high class in a boxing ring of what it is. Absolutely,
and I think it was only a matter of time before we had some sort of crossover, and it's happening, and they're two of the biggest names in their respective sports. Maurizio, I know you're a very busy man today, so I really appreciate this interview. Very privileged to be here, and I wish you a safe journey home as well.
Thank you so very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the very near future.
You too, sir. Take care. Bye bye.